alon ko afele nyaabe tilinding Arab Gambia Islamic Bankola badingol ngale yurwa betiyata de sako nanata business wala fannala wala ya sabu ntolu electronics ngadinkira kutole sotale brikama nyambai mi alon ko fele nyaabe tilinding ja oil essentiel wala fengo feng ni anata joran kendola kabirin ning electric jorangol lembang fo sola jorangolo asifa o sifa nyindinkira fulol to nar fotata jedron albe sotola sonaya kon na fenkutolu natale bini boko air conditioner aning electrical cable lolu kata wayalo asifa o sifa kandia wata na stand fanol sotale la nin ceiling fanol anu nga water dispenser sotale le mini alon ko nadiate isa jikando bondi wale jusuma bondi tabir lan jorangolo na sifa bele soto kabirin blender solo anen microwave folo andum fanan na fridge lo sotale le mini alon ko ka kurangota anen fanan e ka sola fanan tamande kurango fanan bokalo nyin temboto wala ya sabu na generate kutol sambale mini alon ko tamando be soneare anen TV stanolo nimbe ise sodonole jama sandiro walla kilin sandiro na nyimbiti kutode jede nal fotata je nyim fengo sifa bele bije foni tol fanan kabirin sidangol lomba fo tabulo lomba anen fengo fenni wala ka bungo na nyandi nga bele sotale walla electronic natale kalo da hande na lafta nyim fengol bela alin kumande
788 9398 981 9398 wala 678 9398 wala liye email ibrahima.gsm@gmail.com
electronics fengo adadima abete yarimo andu nati nyata ne asambanya na wicho kono mene warranty soto nsa josele
ning epre karo tili kononto 2022 sangombe min konoteng Gambia be parendil kekan kamburun ka karse fay koteke moli e milialon ko wollebe kelad na dipitelti kataranto yala dipite bungol kono foni sanjilulu nala National Council for Civic Education wolle ko be jama baldingol be kalam tandilako momo mu Gambia dingoti ila nyantolom kajeko epre karo tili kononto ye finti ye karse fay coming avec safrin na loi buko kono section 26 and 39 1997 constitution o kono nyame mol min belori ye nganyo itande andi be parade impuruka ke député kono kelinti nyin tembena e be campaigno damutale banko kan ila tundola e be diamuke la mole kai tandila miyatina e nyanta ka karre fay itolie keda ka fuk political patrioto kela nganyo nin kano itande mola mimbe loka nyin député yala wa mo Gambia dingol bela nyantoleti woton sake silal mi nyinyata ngalon ko momo la nyantola moti e saje karte fayo eta kuke andu mokana Gambia luatinya National Council for Civic Education NCCE ebe jama badingol bedan na tukare nsakata nin campaigno tumola majamfa ko la milyalonko isa fidno mamandi anin kol milyalonko luatinya lo moti nin campaigno tumobe kono banko karobela katun Gambia silal ni Gambia dingol bengan yomu Gambia la nyato talenti andu wodung asesutuno kairo nin tenkungo dronne kono Gambia la karte fayo ka kenyalla miya lonko e ka karte fay kullola kono ite dronne kalong ye karte fay miya mo kotem bukalong otunga katanga finti nga karte fay katung ila karte keso ase falindir fenang mimbe kela Gambia nyato ta bati itenintebe la minna ikana nyina konin karte fighter a fighter daming aka konti walto keda kafu political party la miyete nyafa ila nyantolom ila karte itele tamu adiate ibadi la minna bari sitani hakilola NCCE wole nyin kebaro finalie UNDP la demaro kan
kum badingolo badin jibir lalo anen badin lamoy lalo molbe dawda dron ngal konton ko bona home digital FM anen membe kering TV live annal badin male awmane alla muba program wala mi yalon ko akanali araba nentalan nane sita kada fo talal lulu bidu ngalun tamba so tala jammi yalon ko ay ka faye Mr. Nani Juara barba mun keren babula la fo wasa fang introduce jamin ko dum kacha kono bismillah Mr. Juara
assalamu alaikum abaraka bakar mane ntomo Nani Juara le managing director avec la studio
baraka bake baade mo kala mo yamen dorom nawek la suuti o bidan na han nawek le tamanta na brimbi kama fo jang Mr. Juara mbella fela ye la history ni fo molia ina background history.
Okay, baraka folo fatum debata ñakoy taybat le wulli URR wulu tajele nganna karam mo fanan start jele men kita primary school ti ñakoy primary school from 1977-78 academic year for 1984 nganna common entrance tajele mbotaje data basse men kita St. George's secondary technical school Catholic school leng from 1984 kita for 1988 ngana secondary fourth examination okeje kabrim bataje 1988 nata continue kita high school but before ngata high school at that time comme yalo nyamen na funding ke jama hammo ka dara waraka ko betamala tare ko ning ngafnyo ma jama mi an ko tele botandang nyola nyakoy nata St. George's jama be je mi ala kabrenga secondary fo ke dron otomo visa ten tol ni Europe tema e mo jama be je e sino soro etata mola wo piyo kon demanding fana hakilo jahasa demande ka fo maybe mo fana nyanda tala ngata tubabu do yalo ni kafu nyomal ali membe temende jama e ka influence sur la life kono demande yo but ala nata makoy nsitan ko bande boda family men kono wala sembo ma wara jama la bente makoy la pour ketketo fonction pour ngata tubabu do ayatare dum mbes kalum be school je fana ngakata ko kel bake men nata ni ko examination no jama nka kata back na result sol ka beta ayatum na fo catholic sister do beje e ka fa ko sister Mary afadan akan to karani no geography la no in school ayatar dan ninka secondary fo ka ko ne ko ni if you have A in my subject and you want to go to high school mbe ma ko la nga ajoe so way motivate le bake ayatum na kabrim be secondary fo exam ko la nga nakata ko ke bake ando ale manta ben nga pass marks do pour que da high school andung otumo fang hammo warle mbake high school of ko fanda because I telling ka fu ñwa dol be mi anko ni benung primary school ka ben nga common entrance ke e direct entry to high school alamante mako no ndanga high school marks so nada continue dara secondary school ka ben ngo exam okay sister Mary because I alno ko fana sembo ma wara because aka jël high school me secondary school time na nga struggle ñamen na because of my family background but I just fana karam fana hammo warta karam ko baak
ayela hammo je
karam ko baak so I atna fam basse otumo kuran ko fam problème o te basse at that time dila dantan ding wala kuran so do basse dila jama be mo be sabatere nje kuran te je han pour ka study e ka finte la eta lo mbedol ko mi anko street light lo beje eta si street light ñu ko la pour ye read no because so ko la kuran te je
at that
time 1988 it was very challenging la mi ko courant so do cordal basse amansia hana sia da fana jama courant nyum buke abuke siro keno so jama karam do denno ka je suto because basse fana ka kande back certain time of the year so nka fintele ngata si o lampol koto outside pour ka study ka make so exam e kana faire so but what do fana courant buka so do at all so for sondolo use so sister Mary because at be Catholic mission because nka challenge so sometimes har ka sondolo fon so pour que ebe me use la nka church nga tarije ay kamul mako ay sondolo fon ci ay adi mol pour system bi bon so ka bi na secondary fo ba nada watin tara high school men keta Nasir Ahmadiyya Muslim high school in Basse that was from 1988 up to 1991 ngana o level ke jele and then alhamdulillah ngana kat ko fananke bake for nga very good resource raje me anko at least we got 5 o level credits and then nga resource pendo se me anko qualified for pour kita ken a level ke but that time also sembo ma wara njahalta dama ni ntabe na elebul kero la nyaade
ko do tije
bari yalo ala ni kela kato koke jama afana kana aka makoro dino isli famma ngi mako nata wakil ko mena kombo jana ngana do ko nyinola so kabin nata jam alhamdulillah ntara gamtel konkana do ko nyene gamtel yalo jama ni nata wo company member number 1 in Gambia gamtel so it was the dream of every young school leaver pour que ta ka do ko ki gamtel to Bakar Ndiaye ñol lebi je Omar Ndaw ila director of technical services then and director minan ko yakata bake pour que gamtel londation so ala nata mako en sabata da meya Omar Ndaw former managing director man gamtel fana but before I came managing director atale mun director of technical services gamtel kilometer so ala nata mako en tarate yang pour que doko ñini ka fay mako pour fasu doko sodo non Omar ko ay na resource jibe akonyo ko ya merita elebul klaba nka hani nka man laf elebul lafa dokol because I know the background that I'm coming from lafta ken wulal mako la so nka en kon to kay mako e dokor sa ko ne okay ila kay tolti jam 2-3 days mu reje ko take akonyo ko say ita traita Gambia High School o ita ice ya jibe foisi admission sotono ila elo mbe mako la and this is one guy me alonko I've never set an eye on him for the first time be doku ñinola ndara la office soto but otumo Gambia mol ka ñoo mako e bakala weda ye long email long ini denta ini mandem yalon koy mu gambe nolti xammo be la pour ka kata e ka mako rodila Umar Mandelo na mandem
ina mane han ay je for the first time
na mina je nyaafu ngol Umar Ndaw ngalo kabin nata because sita meya wala badi ngom wala yat nga Umar long and for the first time tara office of fanako na resource damma wala yat na ko nyoko ite nyanta ele bul kala so wala nga ala tendu bak Umar la ay kata ko menke akonyo ko ta skulo nyini ala in ma ko entada nga admission soro at ice wala A level class ntelang first batch 1991 pour ka start je then Mr. Cisse he was a former headmaster or principal of Amite High School, the former director of education Mr. Blair, the former principal of Muslim High School Sheikh Diouf plus Mr. Jan, former principal of Gambia High School. Well, after New York, your Institute for Continuing Education on your setup, which we call ICE, and we happen to be the first batch to start the A-level class. From 1991 to 1993, and Alhamdulillah, from that school also, we did our best. At least I came out with at least 3 B's and a D.
Wow.
Yeah, from the A-level. Then I got the qualification again. I can, enter any university at the time with my O-level and A-level. So the next step was looking for a job and also trying to secure scholarship. Because I can first degree.
So how can I have a tamako?
No tamako nyata wala. From 1988, it never occurred to me that I should go and stress myself also because now I realized that education could be the key. It could be the key for me. And knowing my background, I didn't even bother myself. Then after my A-level, I was just looking for a job. I tried all means. Initially, I even wanted to go for the police, because then it was not easy, but with your A-level, it was equivalent to a university degree at the time in the Gambia because there was no university. Yeah, so if you go to the police, you can start with a cadet officer. So I even went to the extent of talking to Pasala Jan, because I was kind of desperate to get a job, knowing that my family needs me to support them. So I tried, that didn't work, because the selection time and see. Then I was just applying at random. Any doku loud any public announcement every day. So luckily for me, there was an announcement from the management service agency called MSG. Wala munung company me along ko Italy they took over GUC. Man of GUC, I don't know how old you are. 94. So that was the Gambia Utilities Corporation. That is GUC. Then you have this management services agency that took over from that company in 1993. So 1994, I applied as a meter reader after my A-level. Application was sent. But guess what? I don't even know where their offices were. Yes, I know. Post office and I posted my application to them. A friend because this is a friend me uncle. When we were going to high school, we were together. When we came here A-level, we were also together, but we are not staying at the same place. So at in London Corner and in New Joshua.
What are you, Martin?
Mr. Musaba. Okay. In fact, one time he was a director at GAIPA, but now he's currently running a money transfer business and other businesses. I think if you are listening to Peter, all it is a flex money transfer.
Yes. Yes.
That's Musaba's business and his partners. So he's one guy who is, we are very close. We went to school together. We did our A-levels together. And then telephone application to start work at NAWEC. And we all posted our application because I don't even know where NAWEC offices are. So the next 1 week, we just saw our names on the newspapers to come for entry examination. Yeah? To come to NAWEC at that time. That is MSG. We have to take an entry examination. Examolata pour kena as a meter reader. So ala nata naflo be mako ifana nga exam ni pass.
Ina halta.
Then nga training ke adi kotu training school April 1994. Then nga doko start as a meter reader. NAWEC. So doko start 1994 as a meter reader nga domandoma for Mansakunda Falenta in July. In 1995-96 MSG yela contract ko terminate. The company was changed, renamed to National Aid, so UHC. Then after Utilities Holding Corporation. Then after Utilities Holding Corporation, it changed name again to National Water and Electricity Company. So nga domandom for 1995, there was this opening for the University of the Gambia, which is called the University Extension Program, UEP. That was the first university establishment in the Gambia. It was being coordinated by Nova Scotia, Gambia, through Boris. But St. Mary's University in Halifax, Canada, they were the ones running the programs for us. It's like an extension program of the University of St. Mary's in Halifax, Canada. So all the lecturers were coming, from Canada, to come to Gambia here, do the lectures. For a semester also, and they go back. Yeah. So all the exams were coordinated just like as if we are in St. Mary's in Canada. And that's why for 3.5 years, we've been through that from 1995 up to 1999. That was the year we graduated. If most of the permanent secretaries today in the system, most of the director generals in the system are all products of the University Extension Program.
Yes.
We were the guinea pigs, we were tested, and we proved everybody that we want the result.
Sure.
And our performance then, compared to even our colleagues at St. Mary's, at the main campus in Canada, we were definitely marking them up. Wow. Most of those...
You all did wonders.
Yes, you all did wonders. But it was with a lot of sacrifice.
Yes.
People like me, and some of my colleagues who were also working at NAWEC at the time, it was a government scholarship. Government was paying the university. But we were still working at NAWEC. And unfortunately, the management did not give us full, study leave. So we were asked to continue to come to work after classes.
And go back to
yes.
School.
And unfortunately, we are also paid half salary.
Because
but Haramadung is what is more important in a life. If you want to achieve something, you have to make sure there is a lot of sacrifice. You have to sacrifice and go for it. Because just go for it. Never give up. It can be tough, but if you think it's the right thing, go for it.
Slowly but surely.
Definitely, just go for it, Fatmane. So we did that.
Sorry,
Yeah, we did that. In 1999, Alhamdulillah, we all graduated. When we came back, Alhamdulillah, positions have changed. From meter reading, we got promotions as senior commercial officers. And then I never gave up.
You still continue
I still want to continue working, but yes, still I want to achieve more. And there was a lot of challenges, getting scholarships again to go and do your masters. So I did it on my own to search for more opportunities, that I don't want to wait for another number of years without doing my masters. So I looked for scholarships, and luckily in 2001, to be more precise, 2002, I got a Danish scholarship. I went to Denmark to do my masters, which is MSc, Masters of Science in Business Administration, at the University of Odense. That we call it is called Southern Denmark University. It's called University of Odense, at the city of Odense. So I did my MSc there for a period of 2 years. During this period, I completed my program within 1 year and 6 months instead of 2 years. The rest of the 6 months, because I was still on study leave at the time, I used that to work hard, very, very hard. And working hard means not doing the usual white-collar job. I was a cleaner, in one of the kindergartens, yes. I was a cleaner. I didn't realize that I have a master's degree, because it's never written on my face anywhere to say that master's degree or university degree. No, for me that was not important for me. What was important was I came here to study, and left a to alay makwele ngana master's degree within 1 year, 6 months, and I have the time to do some work, so that at least I can also do something back home. And Alhamdulillah, that 6 months I really worked very hard. So before I came, I was able to build a house for myself. And when I came, 1 month, I was renting in Joshua. Just 1 month when I came, I moved to my house in Brusubi. So that's how life is. Sometimes you have to take the challenge. And after my masters, came back to work.
You came back to Nawek? Back
to Nawek, because I was given a study leave to go for my masters this time around. And when I completed, I have to come home, even though there was a lot of temptation. Many of my colleagues in Europe were telling me, "Fay nyama tale ko kara Gambia." Ima kalamuta ko jebe kolare nyamen na. Ko chalo murkilim dala stagnate. Yes, I'm aware. But because here, with my master's degrees, I can only be a cleaner. Maybe at best, I go to the factories and work. So Gambian people need me, because at the time, when we are doing our masters, we have very few master's degree holders, because we were the first people from the University of the Gambia. So I said, look, we have to come back and support our government. It doesn't matter. The conditions were not the best of times. Everybody knows that. But somebody has to sacrifice somehow. So I decided that I'll come home. And I packed. They were surprised. I said, my colleagues are there. We attended the same university. When I was leaving, I was better paid than them. Because at least parastatals, our salaries are better than central government. And I have my colleagues who are working at the central government, and yes, still they are in the Gambia. I'll go home.
Why not go back to the Gambia?
I'll go home.
Work for my country.
That's where I belong. So I took the sacrifice. The weekend I came home and went back to work. In 2004. That was in 2004. So I went back to work. Alhamdulillah, I got my promotion in 2005 as credit control manager, responsible for all what is called revenue collection, to make sure people pay our bills. The manekuna guy, ones who like eating and they don't pay bills, I go after them to say that please pay our bills.
I'll below you.
Okay, I'll below you. So that was my first this thing as a manager. So I was involved in that. Also, part of my responsibility also to work with the meter reading department. So I did that from 2005 to 2006. And when my former director, who was the commercial director, Mr. Mamadou Diallo, may his soul rest in perfect peace. He passed away last year, unfortunately. But he was a very good former boss to me. Treated me like a brother. When he was promoted, his position at commercial, was also kind of handed over to me in an acting capacity. That was in 2006. By 2008, I was confirmed in the position as the commercial director, a position I held. That was commercial director from that period, 2006 up to 2014, July. Then I was also promoted to become the deputy managing director. A position of me up to 2020. And by 2020, July, then I was appointed as managing director of NAWEC.
So Kamuta, you bought from meter reader to
officer, to manager, to director, deputy managing director, and then managing director.
It has always been NAWEC from the
I've never known any other place other than NAWEC in terms of work experience.
Wow.
Yep.
It's very inspirational, from meter reader to managing director.
Absolutely.
Hard work really pays off.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
NAWEC.
Yep.
NAWEC take over.
Okay. I think it has been a long journey. Because based on that I was around since 1994. So that means it's important for NAWEC history long, so that near NAWEC history long, NAWEC has moved from somewhere to somewhere over the decades. Of course, not to the expectation of most of the public, but a lot of work has been done. All the previous managing directors that before me have done their best. Company le mialanko asambo mansone because ni company mialanko atele marta jiola atele marta kuranla ni service flow in most countries company fula ka borandi wala ka tamandi
akata in
separate ways, but NAWEC as a company ntole marta jioni kurango bela anu ni mu service o mialanko mo bela sulatala adi sulatala wati kilo fanal ayatuna ko ay doko nyin ko landi back. So for the past many years, NAWEC as a company, operate most of the time with losses. Me no wolom. Joran memben tol bulo konon ke tamandi wala masimo nyulte. Masin jama bi jemi ko e kotale. But before that, NAWEC Franco ama wara. And then expectation of high back. So I atuna ko isa kato kenyawanya ibuke no jeno, because in the past never sulata investment in the sector like all other countries amansoto, because yalo nyawen na economy fana mawara and electricity and water business among business keeping. Let me give an example. Pour que genetically Gambia mi yalanko 6 megawatts, for example. Megawatt wo kilo killing cost $1.5 million US.
1.5 million.
$1.5 million minimum. Neo falling Gambia dalasoro. It's almost about $80 million.
Million times.
Million times. So that means to have maximum 6 megawatts capacity in mullet. You just multiply 6 by $1.5 million. That will give you close to about how much? Million jama, close to about 8 million or 7.5 million or $8 million. Near high Magambe dollars over $200 million is per kilowatt. So I atunako we invest in amount of government masambo sotno yantaka investment in the sector e market for a very long time. I atunako masimu jama na Gambia e mana new jama second hand na bari nga kutamal sotla through Dontoro, because feta la partner solia yokodo dondo ayate, but NAWEC niaji be to kotu power session da mala sortano in the past. Masin danta la fana beje no to masin saba anata ke nandi G6, so masin nana wala to ka bobrika ma fojam fo banjul wala ka be supply no, so NAWEC ya demande mo nyala fo in 2006 Mohamed Basi ngami ya remember because at least by 94 but 2006 mame basi you remember then after nata fansum power station dolo jang wala the first IPP mi alanko ani naweke doko ke ay machine dol nati andum men nata ke fana o Mohamed Basse kelum wala fana ka fuelo nati Gambia pour que nawek supply ke Gambia fana mo me be fana supply et la gasolol ning essence même isolata la and then unfortunately fana Mohamed Basse fana man sakunda nata fana sembo di wala pour que nawek fana mara so ay tari ayaje ku jamala dun tanyo ko baro be mbe struggle ka manaji ndarto membe nunjang yakata baake e man fen soto pressure was too much but yes still yela kata ko kele is done no damage wala to niaje num bayro asera company mentu num baake nawek la manaji ndarto ya bay manaji ndarto ya bay yala même toñate it's not because of managing director they are incompetent amanka ko e malong ebe menkega ike ko yo lonne but inyen fongo mi nyenta kete mako e pour ko do ko keno wala man tarje so iko you cannot squeeze water out of the stone inyen daka menk e bor ke kanono wala tuna mo jama beje ye bay bi they are the heads of most of the international organizations. They are either directors at the African Development Bank, or they are with West African Power Pool, or they are at the IDB. So they have, managing directors from by Nunjang. They were best of the brands. Ibele Londo was a as the current managing director. Many baby Nunjang. Wolola Londo from Savo, Wola Tambitan Tefola. Maybe la Katakola from Tambitan, but what will man clear? So, but Ibela Katakola. So, Kabinada up to 2020, Ndekada managing director. Alhamdulillah, before 2020, when I was change of government, I was still here as deputy. I was very close to almost I was next because the managing director, then the deputy managing director. So obviously, whatever the MD was doing, I was doing it together with him. So I knew that it was just a matter of time. But things will change for this company because we had a determination. My former managing director, who was Baba Fatajo, in 2017, we sat down with our development partners in Italy and we chart a pathway for this company. Kajoko, the roadmap, where we want to take this company to. From that period up to 2025. That NAVEX should take this direction, which we call the energy sector roadmap. We develop it. So when we develop that, the donors, together with World Bank especially, they help us to develop that roadmap because you cannot just be firefighting. That has been the hallmark of NAVEX operations. I come to look fire brigades. You fire is up, you go there and put it off. That will not take any organization, any country, anywhere. You have to sit down. You have to put up a plan. So this we did in 2017. So Kabringa Plano Landi, then we share this document with our partners, where we have our short-term, medium-term, and long-term investment plans. Kabo generation, kila transmission and distribution, up to customer service level, as to where we want to take this company to. Kabringa, okay, and alhamdulillah, World Bank took the lead. They were the first donors to come in. Kabringa Plano Dada. So they were so attracted to it. Each of the donors, and that's where the whole change process started for NAVEC. But notwithstanding, Mako Ronate, but among Waranum back. Even Tescananum, Kaji before, this company is ready for the change. And we proved to all of them that we are ready. You could Mola, Elatanga Dame, Ewato many that implement. Even before half of that period, we implemented the project to their satisfaction. Then they double. Another Makoro Yalak Sambo Fananda, back and So I had to know saying Makoro Assemble Warling back in the work, Pukajoko, after coming achieve. But Kabringo system it was working for us. Then what we did was to now roadmap expand more to even look at more into the future. to be able to change this company completely. We are still going to be public enterprise, but to have a mindset of a private company. Walam ko na miriala abekela like we are running a private company. Comme a private company le tamandika. Ka joko miria membo private mol kunkono walam ko not only profit, because for us we are a public utility. We don't expect maybe to be making profit. If you make profit, good. But nima make for now at least we should be able to break even, and then for now service of quality to the people. People should have access, and they should have reliable supply. So in 2020, 2019, 2020, we roadmap in for now start like our update. Now we call it energy sector master plan. That energy sector master plan, it covers all aspects. Because you design depend only generator laka. Now supply be ko be generator la bala. Dunia be falinkan. Now as part of our energy mix, be solar natikan into the system. Pour que solar ke solar fanana. Because banku dole wala keka ay wala tina fanan abe sonya la nawek fanan bulu pour que dépense o ñim fanan tala.
Yeah, ite amara ko solar la cheap la than generator.
No doubt wala mutonyade. Ala initial investment o daka kole ala. But ni solar power londi jama abela energy cost abatalala, because ntaka ko do men spend on fenko dama fuel dama mi alon ko heavy fuel men doyata $2 million karo kare million kemen fen karo kare pour fuel dama de tulo data je masul les spare parts data je, you understand? So it's very expensive. But ni solar plant soto because ni gamen kol bebe kumbo kam fane ka ko kaspa da ko letter. Because jaba jama kaje mane kunna kol ni sane kunna kol jamala kana na soko ne ka ko makoy. E kaspa sam mole. Yo membe ji tonyata amanka ko min ko gambe damalam. But ni ka operate on only generator. E mang solar da dundije, e mang wind dundije. Hydro te block no. Jama ila price o kata high rende. So wo ukata ko mboke kana kaje ko nga solar project ko fana nati Gambia ni ala kilitala 20 megawatt solar plant mba install ala in Jambur, World Bank and European Investment Bank and EU wala bo koma ebe mako e ka. So say o master plan o nyi nga expand now up to 2040 instead of 2025. We look at a long term vision and plan 2040. But yalo as a leader ni be vision or dealer ibuka foko intelligent ko be implement aman ko intelligent katarje pro vision no ya complete ay tarje no so that is a continuity continue aka continue aman ko itete you are planning for the future, so intelligent ka menke during that period okay. So right now as senior management of NAWEC, the focus is on that roadmap, that energy master plan. One, from 2020, we have started working hard to make sure this solar plant is in place. I tell you so that kuranga da asesona no Gambian kol fali. No bataje, ntol fan la financial position of finance improve. NAWEC fan ntatat la ko mol donto. Il a fait offense ko amra bank nga ñun don't no ka make so hani man profit soto bayel dapanso
and after financially independent.
Exactly. So at least the company should be financially viable. So master plan we are working on that with our partners, and we have seen a lot of support to the extent because of the satisfaction meant I content up to today B fo dole mol contact ko bi lakala kana ke makoro kafali. So way atuna ko ning government la bulo be dundi ñoko na kaje ko ñi banko Gambia before by 2025 la fal sato na be ñi banko ka ay courant son
bari yamara by 2025 ba keno because on of be siare ne mo complain ntoli yani jota be birin somanda abuka na for 2 o'clock courant fana abuka steady courant bi ta
so fat ya jang ka ben foye
muna go cool dol sabu courant bi ta
nka même produce animal sulata menna ima match na capacity membembulu anim right na molbe sulari menna ama match because machine koto jamal bembulo kon fa machine koto jamal bembulo kon la but wala nan ko en ko ni be ko ko you have to go with your plans. We know we are under pressure, but we are 100% certain ko nga larans nga tarans do min landi nin continue ka wol no madron ñim problème men ka diamo abe banale andum nseñin lahido di gamben ko le belako ni ala kitala very soon because ni ngoy breakama pause sono ni taraji OMV je la sof sono ñing samba be parala adum be jikre ñing karo men ba kono ñing february nawek ani OMV je be interconnection ñing kala and we can get up to 50 megawatts or 30 megawatts minimum from that substation. I don't know soto what is like almost equivalent of 30 to 40% of the energy need in Sulatan. In addition to membentol from a block on a jam. Namasung member jam. Ningo kafunyoka. Water do be so power station do be ba bele fala. Eman sural. So na hamo munet wolam masim koto nyul ma fong ifay bare ila tapan sosia batal ni OMV ji nata rek masin jama be jem bol dendilal nka tulo men sang oda bala jela nka gasolo men sang ol be bala jela spare parts men fana ada be kolari ol fan bitalala so ay tara ko se geneto ni soto nge maintain ay tara on standby bar gamben ko so ko men na ay soto yalla courant man dan jenato damba adin ka power station ka promen supply e ñi wayal min fana jassate ko courant sor balia aka sababul fana la wayal bembe je wayal dul be je me batale e ko tala ayat nako sometimes e ko courant senle ni aje sometimes do si jakay kay ba par hani fenni ya ma rek system ka trip because one network of fana is very very old and we have plans pour ko network ko ñim fana ka upgrade right na nga contract ko fan sign la ni aji be ni tala jaban silo kam e bayala ko substation ko tamay ba lokan highway ñing kadde brikamas power station fananto be anoda e ka fay men national control center mballo na je melan ko la power station ani la network ko be e kadara sirinten e baji be la screen auto e balna brikama kuranjel fenke jalabta kanje kotu kuran jalle beta kanje basse ma fon jalle beta kanje everything you would know without physically going into the field yalla no nim fault fana sorta e balon na directly fault is from this side wala na sometimes nim fault sorta la not ka bata back because right now yes physically you have to go on the ground if I tama pol doro jibe ateno hani ita pol do fana yo jibe ni la no taje
yemuru fi ba ko lo ni ngela
exactly fajani bajala wakatna nim kuran fa da do dakam what is that before the problem you solve now? So we are doing everything possible to the system of modernize. And then my corral there on our way. So right now we have signed a contract for access. Nga lebe sila den ka alcohol bi ko nganya dam mo beya. Ndol même fo ya so sign to don ko so nyam. To nyalati. Bari nga même fo ndon nyin karo nga OMV jinati online. Generation na site ni allocate la wo will say for certain that we have sorted that out. So transmission and distribution we have signed a contract pour na transmission line ñu fana upgrade from 33,000 volts kilovolts to 33,000 volts to 225,000 volts. Yalong Gambia ani banku do lebe dending business la say. Yalo OMVG organisation la mi yalon ko.
Na avec la fanna.
Ha because membe je ni ko be dending business la wolam ko ntol be mu kuran janjandi la let. Andum bebe West Africa sub-regional kono and dabe organisation kilo la fanan kono idea men be kere say wolom regional integration akana damma ke mani botol tambindi boda so la damma courant fana nyata tambino la to trade in electricity because wala be kere dunia be kono nin Gambia courant da sonata Gambia la Senegal sanaje e courant san Gambia yela mo because ila mo so la mo na wala courant me anko da sonata andum abarakata Gambia find the same thing. Nin courant da chip to Senegal or chip to Guinea-Bissau or Guinea-Conakry. We can say okay, we'll buy from Guinea-Bissau. Pour na mole courant so mi anko da diata. Mi yalon ko il tala nyame fana wato wata be sotla. So we'll trade among ourselves. And even with West African Power Pool, wolum organisation mi anko atale marta courant la fenko ko be West Africa. Wol fanal we are working with them with the support of the World Bank pour que solar project ko nati jara soma. Mi anko 150 megawatt solar plant. Wolo be talaje. Gambia sa sotono je Senegal ba sa la jele Guinea Bissau sa sotono je Guinea Conakry sa sotono je even Ivory Coast e be courant from Gambia because natara wala da sonata itel ka courant men produce e basa na jan so plan jamal le be kere adu njikita 100% ko within the next few years at least 90% of our people will have access to electricity.
And
then God will be control legacy in our care because yalla munam ndol fa meta jan ni bo la jam ni da ka fentu ko mal mol se mera ise ila wato la akata ila wato la nta damata keno but with my team ndol la denta mo kunu damma inam nam fentu mi yalan ko mol se kawan wala amam possible ini mol be denala ale ñoo makoy ali nga nelu ko client because banku do ko faal nga newle ko client pour al se kuke no mol se alon ko ye watajo ya bayla so njekira ko sate jama beje ke bo kombo ke da fo bolon kono e be bu ko sot la and we already nga contract ko signed for over 330 something communities me an ko be ko sot la and nga very soon the another contract signed for another 240 something communities me an ko from North Bank ke da fo URR
ba dingolo antolo moyola nani ujiko di mola masakunda de marobe nyaade kada jeko a wato man seba masakunda de marobe nyaade
masakunda ya makoro je ngasoro makoro balblo ak tambi masakunda Minister of Finance wala ka government represent pour kaje ko banko lo silo ko lo muneti inin institution like nawek inin ka kaja ya mon ko Allah ta ka muneki wala nan ko plano kumaita back because pour mo le face fa yantande ko ntla fa ka nyenek andi lafta ka kenyadil so wo documents the Minister of Finance ko la sea mo minan ko mako la keta World Bank African Development Bank EU Bank ngata nga fo ko nda lafta ka nyene kenyi bank ko andu be jekirim ko anyanta ka dapanso nyanda ka nyanda nyela so wo dapa wo in Minister of Finance ko ay de nyata with us ngata nga sell to the donors ka fo kon lafta ale mako nyela so ni ko fa le après solo ka yaje ko to nyato nyanyi abe banku dimul nafala le then is approval of the government la ka fo ngon son talle ale nyini karo menk pour ka makoy so ntolo masakunda la company la gamben ko bele tam na wek manke private company nte mbere na mo le benyi company ko so government la company lam ka je ko masakunda te men keno la fayen directly ni ento london like a private like a commercial enterprise for them to do business on their behalf kaje ko belan ko government ta keno le fanga directly ntol muy la bulo la kaje ko ntel selo no yeng okay and wala munye ko mol so da courant la so da jiol la ale lo sim fulo kan ale ko jiwe soto courant soto and ma sakunda e ko do men be soto from nyin donol e ko di kilota ya transfantol ya ko al sul da nyela nga ko do nyinal yenne ko do nyin fele ala do ko la tala nyamen so ma sakunda ma ko ro nyin para certain tanola ni ma sakunda ma ko ro diga wala mtonyate because masakunda nyin wala tam company nyin fanante they are 100% ownership it have 100% ownership of the company ha ndol bank and other prices of the member jam government la company lom so e kam makoyle e be lorin ko male ni ka do ko kele nditano la e koma pour que succeed andung mako so do ko la ba government be lorin
wato falenting ay sofa e se funda fono gambe de wala muy yalan ko lu ngoli ba fa ko courant keten nawek ni ko no nawek se funda fono gambe de wala muy yalan
folo be hakka danila because ndol bem consommation la ya jento mem ma de jendara to ni ko tara ya mbuka diam la do tara because mbuka ha mbe complain jomale but I don't feel comfortable in my room nkam pam put mo la place olto ni man courant so man je soto ya andu flos tele to be la bunkon ini dimbal biji nka fil nyamen nan ka je ko mol franka the same feel no so la bunlo ko you understand so nse men fono doron ala hakko boyndi mole be nakata ko ke kanne do ko me ko aman sonya ay dépense men nit jama mbuka soto nyanda ka soto wato menna ni aso defana ak wata jantala pour que do ko nyin complete no ayatuna ko ni ajibe combat jang tuba banko kan mulbe janjang kan de la belto si la sang ita fono ko serakunda jan dawda silo futaraje mul futaraje dawda na courant futaraje mul futaraje ayatuna ko na demanding men kan na service ko asembo wara batale ayatuna ko project ko bembulle men be nakan yola project so be nakan ne the French Development Agency e be mako kan World Bank e be mako kan pour que jor que topoto ko ke joto and then OIC fana memira kan this OIC conference memira la Gambia nga mako ro soto jele courant la karola mbe $10 million soto la je pour courant and mbe $22.5 million fana soto je pour jio obe pour ka jibe ni jiku problème be because fana ka sile nga jibe na problème be da mafa nga mako ro nyene ka woto bari yalla dono la mako ro ani masa kundala e ka projet ko implement nyama aman clear nata ka bon fon la ranke solo kono ku dol be je condition dol be je abuka jar wala isi wul no sinya kile rek do ko nyi keno ay taria bar ni mako la ya dila e ka fayna nyanda ka nyenke nyanda ka adu mo mending nata ko projet ko ba affect la de fa compensate so wala na jama ni mol la may ka fo e ko layno tambe jama fa so mbejal la sot la je so nawek fo be compensate wala ko lol tala akay slow down demande bari enseigner di gamben ko la ko nawek la management paretala andu mbakat la baket kaje ko ila sula kol ment wala ko rawni jio nga kata bake nda problème be solf no la de banku development is a process gradual process lam ntol ben takala ben kata ko be kala kaje ko nga nyanda ka menke ngoke kaje ko mo le courant so de jio so nyanda ka so nyam nin dol fan bata jang development ka continuer le nin dol fan nata ya continuer bare be jikirin ko nyin sangi dantan ko no courant ko ni jiko mbe kata ku balake kanje me anko mi nyanda ka la problème solf le andu
ni ko yin sangi dantan ko no hapo be nyaade
ni courant karom nsa falen ko mini anko e courant so sign ni alkitita la within the next 1 month or so grada Banjul area because yalla nga simla problème so de bassin ma fawno adiamo sera ani makade banko ka nga mera 2021 italia tan ko la fa koy la bassin ko ning makadum ko courant bu ka soto bare nga fero landi fo bi ito la ko stable ta Zambako now they are getting 24 hours electricity supply from Basse, CRR, LRR, North Bank.
And we'll see if I left all some
that's why the OMVG will help us to achieve that. And I
within 1 month.
Inshallah. But that will be taraje. Still not be problem of demand. Even though we will have enough capacity, but transformer will be that or transformer will be overload tale. So nga kudo from the World Bank. Nga tenda kela already pour transformer kela capacity double. So nga approval from the bank. Nga company do recommend here, so we can go ahead. So we are waiting for some time for a contract was signed with that company. Ninga contract was signed with that company be transformer kutama jamala natla. Midla me anko la voltage mang correct. Nga transformer do kutama likije ka improve kela capacity increase. Dila me anko nke Lord said even though generation capacity nyimbe buloko na le, but because power transformer nyele overload dia ko ya wularo funga modol tala demande ni alkitala in the next few months mbodo ko fana katla ko transformer fana replace kaje ko ni ko sorta mo be quality of electricity ni enjoy
ko mara beto do
wala fama biggest problem ban kabe ngamen foye OIC ko do ngako do so jere men kala about $22.5 million right now be tanda process to pour ka company ni mi an ko yembela e boholol sinna e be treatment plan ñu fanan dadala me anko bakala around bato kunku area pour que jioñing jama fanam pompe nar ko de jab because demand ñimbe jama fon la ke bo brikama ke nani jama fon so laftala ko fana improve and then French Development Agency fana wol fana makoro di molal up to about 16 point something million dollars o fana bedakan already tomorrow they are coming here, we have a meeting with them and kodoñing is available and we are working to make sure that we prepare the tender documents quickly pour que doku la ñen membo doko fanan kenola and the World Bank fanan they have some intervention funds for us which we call COVID intervention support pour que bo holol fanan kaf ko jam banko kan anim fanan bolon ko na ma fon fanan so gradually we'll be there albal hako ben la mole demand ñi hayta bakal right now wala nan ko en ko management kilon handling joni courant
akoliata
akko ko landele hani la kata ko ke bake pour que courant problème solve ni yamela ko ñindo ngodi mba faale dimba jota feeling wultina but ala betata mbe nakata ko terale andung we are grateful to every Gambian alla support yaljo ndama mbuka silang can criticize because ngalan ko mo public servant let andum be molle safka and they have the same feeling like us, you understand ni jio man soto e ka feeling men soto mol ko feeling soto ni ko man soto the same thing so that motivates me more kaje ko ntol manyan kasino nyanta ka kata back pour que Gambian ko ka make so ila expectation nga meet so we apologize for the current situation but be rest assured ko watin dinam doro ni alkitala will get out of this inshallah.
Baraka bake wale Mr. Juarati nawek la managing director nga tentu bake nga jayi na kacha mon soto bi keta lum fo bar bi te kala lum labamati na kacha jama soto la inshallah bare ay jiko di mo la ko wate sutu ndorong jiyo ni kurango ni ala sonta abebe stabilizer Gambia kon hani mo wa soto bari jama wa soto la banko kan jenne odo nga tentu nga jayi alla mo ba programme wala mu yalon ko akanale Home Digital FM ane MENGBE KERING TV bi nga yen soto la jang anal ba male awo mane na camera timo ba Omar Bojang ane Serif Bojang ngal be tentu ngal jayi nejam fitere jam bi itolle sababu taala oto kal tentu kal jayi fan nata ko adaba kote inshallah ala baraka bake
electronics bale brikama marché konole dami yalon ko afele nyabe tilinding Arab Gambia Islamic Bankola badingol ngale yurwa betiyata de sako nanata business ola fannala wala ya sabu ntolu electronics ngadinkira kutole sotale brikama nyambai mi yalon ko fele nyabe tilinding ja oil essentiel wala fengo feng ni anata joran kendola kabirin ning electric jorangol lembang fo sola jorangolo asifa o sifa nyindinkira fulol to nar fotata jedoron albe sotola sonea kon na fenkutolu natale mini boko air conditionolu aning electrical cable lolu kata wayalu asifa o sifa kandia wata na stand fanol sotale la nin ceiling fanolu anu nga water dispenser sotale le mini alon ko nadiate ise jikando bondi wale jusuma bondi tabir lan jorangolu na sifa bele soto kabirin blender solo aning microwave folo andum fanan nga fridge lo sotale le mini alon ko ka kurangota aning fanan e ka sola fanan tamande kurango fanan bokalo nyin temboto wala ya sabu nga generate kutolu sambale mini alon ko ibtamando be soneare aning TV stanolo nimbe ise sodonole jama sandiro wala kilin sandiro na nyimbitiki kutode jede nal fotada je nyimfengo sifa bele bije foni chol fanan kabirin sidangol lomba fo tabulo lomba aning fengo fenni wala ka bungo na nyinyandi nga bele sotale wala electronic natale kalo da hande na lafta nyimfengol bela alin kumandi
788-9398 981-9398 wala 678-9398 wala liye email ibrahima@gmail.com
electronics femo adadima abete arimo andu nati nyata ne asambanya na wicho kono mini warranty soto nsa josele
April 9, 2022, the Gambia heads to the polls once again for the National Assembly election to elect representatives who will serve them for the next 5 years. As the country prepares for yet another imperative national exercise, the National Council for Civic Education (NCCE) reminds the public that the conduct of National Assembly election is a legal requirement and voting a civic duty which every eligible citizen should discharge on April 9, 2022, as enshrined in Section 26 and 39 of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. As candidates embark on campaign trails in their respective constituencies across the country, canvassing for votes, the NCCE reminds the public that political participation, association and voting are fundamental rights of every citizen. Hence the need to exercise tolerance and civility throughout the period and refrain from any act that is inimical to peaceful elections or contravenes the laws of the Gambia. The public is encouraged to stay away from any confrontation and follow due process to seek redress when aggrieved and maintain peace and security throughout the electoral process, as a collective desire for development could only be achieved in an atmosphere of peace and serenity. The Gambia has a secret ballot system. Your vote is secret and will not be known by anyone. Every vote is important in an election, as each can make a difference. And as customary, counting shall be on the spot. Political affiliation is your right, your vote, your choice. Vote wisely. This message is brought to you by NCCE with support from UNDP.